episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omega Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mikta Rabentau, Edwin, Arcadia Lunashine, Anathus Moonscar, Pamela Isley, Camille Grinno, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Suno Chicano, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Kai Lynn, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Signpup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Chester Soltiri, Celine DeLuden, Bobster Wolf, Severa, Circuit Barrackeel, AJ Brainswordson, Kazran, and Nat Clay. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakers6iv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorsians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 343. I'm Nikhil Braystone, and I'm joined by Georgi Wiston, Mail of Anadar. And that's it. It's just the three of us today.
That's right.
Yeah. Are we? So, welcome.
Yeah.
It's
March 25th.
It's March 25th, 2023.
Yeah.
And
what a lovely time of year.
Lovely time of year. It's spring.
Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung.
We are springing forward tonight.
I think it has even officially sprung now, if you want to go by that annoying definition.
So. Yeah.
I believe it officially sprung yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Very recently.
So that's good. Main topics today. Also will be for Europe. We will be springing forward 1 hour tonight, so make sure you remember that. You'll lose an hour, so go to bed an hour early. Is my pro tip there. So today we're going to talk about PAX East, not the burning rubbish fire that was the 16 PAX East live stream, but 14's Q&A from yesterday. We will also be talking about Hatching Tide 2023, which is coming up, and we will be reading your MogMail, speakers6iv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post show. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate, and I thought... So we don't have anything this week, but I do have the technically almost pretty much finished minimum eye level run that we did of the Etheirys.
Oh my god.
So I thought, know what? Let's just show it during the post show. So that's what we'll be doing in the post show. So stay tuned for that if you're watching live.
Was it funny?
The only reason I want to show it is because of the twerking clown story that Rollo brought up. So that's why. Okay, let's jump into recent events. And just as we load in here, I just realized that something else has not been loaded in, and that is the story slides. So let me just fix that real quick. Professional podcast. Sorry, Rollo is not here, and that has messed up our overlay a little bit. But there we go. We're fine now. It's not Rollo's fault. There we go. Recent events. Let's jump into it. First story. The North American Data Center hardware update is underway. Well, it's about to go underway, but if you're watching this, it has not happened because it's in April. I'll read the post from the Lodestone. In order to deliver an optimal gaming experience for future updates, we'll be upgrading the hardware of our North American data centers. An extended period of maintenance will be scheduled for all worlds while the equipment is being replaced. All content on North American data centers, Ether, Crystal, Dynamis, Primal, including character data, will be automatically transferred to the new servers. No changes will be made to the data center/world selection screens, nor any character or world data. The physical location of all data centers will remain unchanged, and the Final Fantasy XIV development and operations teams will exercise the utmost care in ensuring all data is safely and successfully transferred. Players will not be required to take any action following this hardware update.
That line's got to put a bit of a nervous
Well,
hitter among the audience.
It does underline how scary this is, because they are transferring all data from one piece of hardware to another, and
anything can go wrong. And then once it's happened, it's happened.
Well,
and
they have extensive backups. So yeah.
Think how long it takes you to transfer data between your hard drives.
Yeah,
Right,
Imagine that on the scale of an MMO.
Yeah.
Then they might go the Final Fantasy 8 or 9 development route and just chuck it out immediately if the backup's immediately away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're stuck.
Yeah. So basically, expect your character to be deleted when this maintenance begins.
Yeah, I think your character's dead.
Yeah, it's over, everyone.
Americans be gone.
And this is the day, the Doomsday. We'll get to that now. In order to safeguard against any potential errors while transferring data to the upgraded hardware, all worlds across all physical and logical data centers will undergo maintenance during the period listed below.
So we all have to suffer.
We all have to suffer for America's character deletion. From Monday, April 3rd, 2023 at 3 a.m. to Tuesday, April 4th, 2023 at 3 a.m. PDT.
Oh, that's a long... Okay, that's stages.
The maintenance is scheduled to coincide with patch 6.38.
Oh, okay.
So, we apologize.
24 hours there.
They apologize for the time required. Well, it's a day off, isn't it? Well, no, it's not for us, because that is a stream day for us still. But, isn't it? That's a Monday.
That's a Monday
to Tuesday.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see what.
Yeah. So there you go. That would be the last of the Western updates, right? Or no, there's something else coming to Europe.
We're getting a third data center, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I was pretty sure you were doing. Yeah.
So because we got new servers for the existing ones,
Yeah,
but there's
but we're
a new
getting a
data
whole new
center
DC.
coming. That's weird to think about.
It is weird to think about. They'll be absolute freaks compared to the cool light and chaos people.
Yes.
What was that one called again? What was the name of the whole DC?
The new one?
Yeah.
Do we have a name for it?
No,
Dynamis is NA.
One?
We don't have a name.
Oh, okay.
We don't have a name for the
No, we
one?
don't have the new EU one. They didn't give us the name that early.
No.
That's exciting then.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. Beginning of April. So again, April 3rd and 4th. So keep that in mind.
Day of my Easter leave.
So you have to do your last pre-patch panic farm on Sunday, not on Monday. Okay. Moving on. Upcoming event. Hatching Tide. Eggy stabby fun. Starting March 27th, 2023 to Monday, April 10th, 2023. I don't know why I added the year. It's obviously this year. Just in case you're watching from the past or the future. Well, the future. Well, no. Wait, if you're watching in the future, which we will be in the past for you.
Well, we're already in the past for even the people who are watching the end of the sentence.
No, they're in the present.
Not anymore. Well, but
when you said that, we were in the past.
Yeah, we're in the past now.
Yeah, that's in the past now when I said it initially. Isn't that annoying?
Yeah. That is annoying.
That's super annoying.
That's super annoying.
The season of eggs and whimsy is upon us, and oh god, I can't read. Jilly Aliapo. Oh, it's Jilly Aliapo is looking for an adventurer just like you to help make her dreams, and maybe even nightmares, a reality this year. Ready to take a stab at Hatching Tide? You feel eyes upon you, and they're not just Jilly Aliapos. Okay?
Wonder what the egg dreams will be this year.
Yeah.
This is really one of...
There's something ringing.
This is really one of...
You keep talking. I'll be right back.
Well, I hope it's not a fire alarm again for him. This is... this event's, premise. The premise of the Hatching Tide. is one of the most absurd and like least explained in terms of why it exists.
Right? Woman has weird dreams about rabbits and eggs and stuff, and made a whole holiday about it. It's very strange.
Weren't these eggs inspired by like the 12 or by like
The Archon eggs, wasn't it, in the early ones?
Yes.
The ones I want to collect all of. I've got one of them.
You've got one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll ever get all of them.
Well, if I just craft loads and waste all my gil on really expensive eggs. But you know. But
Okay.
wow. If you're gonna talk about top quality loot, then this is the event to talk about it.
Yes.
Not only are we getting a costume piece, which is one of the best costume pieces I think anyone could ask for, an actual Tonberry outfit, complete. I mean, like giant Tonberries everywhere.
That's
amazing.
actually terrifying.
It's so cool. So if you play as a Lalafell, you can finally get away from the prejudice and play something cool like a Tonberry. And everyone will respect you for it because Tonberries are cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And not only that, an emote.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And not only that, a housing poster item from probably last year's one. That's sweet.
No, it's
sure,
from...
no mount, no minion, but I mean, this is already a lot.
This is from...
Oh, and there's an orchestrion roll as well, yeah.
I think the
There is an
poster...
orchestrion.
I think the poster's from the which event is this? It's the one with the chickens.
Maybe
Hatching
that
Tide?
was it not last year one? Was it the one before?
Oh, it's from Hatching Tide. I see. No,
It was the Hippity Hoppity Hatching. Yeah, but it was from. Was it from 2 years ago?
Because last year was the rabbit one. This one has like
yes,
the
it was
bunny
a few
lady
years ago.
walking with the chickens. Yeah. I think.
Well,
Yeah. These are great rewards. I mean, I will say it's a little strange that it's like horror themed, but again, it's based on her dreams. Technically, it's not based on Jesus Christ, which is
exactly
what Easter is based on for us.
That's true. It's not based on Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And why not? She always has nice dreams about, and they're a bit weird. Why not have a nightmare one?
Yeah, sure.
Might change things up.
Yeah.
It's got the emote. If you're that particular Vieira, you kind of look like Titan. You kind of got Titan vibes with the glowing yellow eyes.
Yeah. The emote is kind of
scary.
When we got the Tonberry knife as a glamour for the secondary tool of culinarians, was that also for Hatching Tide, or was that for a different event?
Oh, good question.
It was something to do with the gold saucer because it also had that big sword for Dark Knights.
No, I thought
no. This was
a
separate.
Valentians.
Valentians. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. You can get it now for $3 on the on
it's
the
really
Mog
one
Station.
of the most worthwhile items on the Mog Station for an item that you can't draw, so you can't like carry it out all the time, and that you can only see approximately for half of the recipes as a culinarian.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it looks just like a kitchen knife.
Yeah. You no one will know that it's the Tonberry knife you're using when you're crafting. So that's March 27th, 1 a.m.
Which is soon.
So it'll be out by the time this
Monday.
podcast is live on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Exciting. Oh, exciting.
Okay. Right. Let's move on then.
I mean,
yeah, go on.
Are we going to dissect why are there sylphs here in the picture?
Oh yeah, in the artwork.
Oh yeah, let's look at the artwork. I love the cabbage people.
Yeah.
They look very cute in this artwork. Much cuter than they look like in game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Much less edible looking.
They're not... Yeah.
I do want to like steam them when I see them. You know, I want, yeah, when I see them in game.
Why is Shroud people with the Notion people? Tonbreys and Sylphs wouldn't.
Well,
Yeah.
it was a dream only, Mela.
It was a dream. Yeah.
I guess.
There's no logical explanation for why the Tonbreys are there. It's very possible that no actual Tonbreys will be there. We've
Yeah.
seen no evidence of that.
Right. Yeah.
At best, we have that giant Tonbrey, which is probably just a person in a suit.
Yep.
It's all dyeable, though, as well, so you can make your hot pink Tonbrey if you want.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be sorting
Mela's
out
got
the right.
this-
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slightly
Imagine
darker
if
purple
this-
headpiece.
To address chat, imagine, Lakil, if this is the answer you get to those weird Tonbrey things in 1.0 that were in the Shroud.
Oh God. Yeah. I don't know how that would tie in, but that would be interesting. It's in the Shroud, so Tonberry's in the Shroud. It does line up, but please.
I'm giving 100 points to anyone who creates a glamour with this that doesn't use the Tonbury headpiece. And it somehow looks good.
I think, well, you'd have to say any headpiece, because, like, the opening on the like...
You're going to look like a little head in a hole.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I've seen some people, apparently, have done naughty things and have had the chance to look at this already. It looks absurd.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yep.
I'm so excited. You can put any head on that and it'll look good, but if it's just like a normal helmet, it's going to look stupid.
Yep.
It might look fine on a Hrothgar.
Maybe. Yeah, that's
If
true.
they
If it has a...
even
If the
wear
Hroth-
it.
I think
Well, no, they'd be able to wear the thing. They might... Well, and no, because they can always wear things that replace the head.
Oh, that's true.
yeah. I think the yeah, we'll see. We'll see lots of
Oh.
pictures in the future.
It comes with the tail. That is not clear in these images.
Oh, it
that
comes
is
with a
not bad.
tail? That's pretty cool.
That means you can actually
Okay.
fully cosplay as a Lala with it.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. March 27th. That's when you can finally live out your Tonberry dreams. Moving
That's
on.
exciting.
It's time for MogMail, believe it or not. That's been a quiet week. So let's jump into MogMail. Nope, that is...
Wait, well, no, where's the thing?
That's more like
This is McMoyle.
This is from Sen Urabe from Lamia. Hello, speakers. Scree. I'm not sure if you've covered the subject before, but I've always wondered, as more expansions come out and we run out of room on Etheirys as far as zones and continents to explore, will we just be venturing to other reflections? We don't seem to know that much about any of the other shards, and knowing that even with those, we have a limited amount left due to rejoinings, unless we have another time travel arc. I feel like it could be somewhat repetitive to just continue visiting them. While I adored the first and had a lot of nostalgia seeing the comparisons between the source and the first, I feel like it might get old seeing different versions of the same landmarks in the future if it occurred. Love to hear what you think, speakers.
I agree with you.
That is interesting. That's an interesting...
I think it would take a lot of time for us to run out of places to go on Etheirys unless the developers rush it. And I feel they've been leaning towards that further each expansion. Like, think about the Aroma Reborn zones. The Shroud is like 5 zones.
Yeah.
And then in the future now, Kurthus is
but-
2 zones. Giraban is like 3 zones.
Yeah.
They need to have more zones per region to really flesh them out.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like Garlemald.
Well,
Ilsabard can't be one region discounting
No.
the island.
I mean, I feel as if there is still a chance that we will get more Ilsabard in future expansions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we deserve it.
Okay.
I think we deserve it.
I mean, I want it. Lakil just saw a ghost. There are like...
What's happening?
Is
Yeah.
there
We
like
have,
a
like-
moth in your room or something? I feel like there's a moth.
No. Well, I heard something
We-
ringing. It was the neighbor. It doesn't matter. Go on.
We have like 2 whole continents left we like at the least we have Miracidia and we have the New World, and the
Mm.
New World is supposed to be very large. If it is supposedly as large as like the Americas, then that's like essentially two continents in one. We have like the far north. We have Corvus. There's so much left on the
Exactly.
on the source. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about the New World, if they did one expansion on that, that's not enough. And think about the place we've already been, like the Far East. We haven't even touched on the southern section of it,
Right.
near Dalmasca and everything, and like the
No.
jungle.
And they've also said that they want to explore the rest of Hingashi as well, so
Yeah.
it's more than just Kugane.
There'll be one zone outside of Kugane within Hingashi,
Yeah.
at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like there's just so much. There's like the Dalvalan Grant thing or whatever, that mountain range that we never do anything with. The burn, the whole of the burn was just a dungeon. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel as if there's nothing there.
Well,
I think I
but,
can.
you know,
I mean, like, it's disappointing, but I can kind of understand it. I just like there's no ether, so like there's no civilizations there.
that's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
I think we could get 2 zones out of the south of it, though.
Out of the burn?
No, out of the south of the Far East.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got Nagsha. Nagsha is
Yeah.
a zone that is named that we explicitly have never been to, and
Yeah.
then there is
It's
like
that jungly place.
Dalmasca,
Where the Vieira live. The real Vieira that we've literally like never really
Golmore jungle.
encountered. Yeah.
Well,
The
so-
only
Well,
one we
there's
ever
also
met was
the-
Fran.
yeah.
There's also Vieira and Ilsabad in the snowy ones.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
I worry about Golmore being locked away because it's part of the Alliance raid.
Force people to
Mhm.
do it like they did with the Crystal Tower.
Yeah, but the Golmore itself is just the name of a map.
Oh, right, I see,
in-
yeah.
Yeah, so it might not
Ugh.
be possible to ever go there. Maybe they'll do like an Alamigo where there'll be like a little settlement just outside of Golmore Jungle at some point. We'll talk more about Dalmasca specifically later.
Mhm.
So, but yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Amarod is both a location and a dungeon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
that's true.
precedent now.
That's true.
Mate, that means there's always a chance we can see Zelphatol without it just being a little exile dungeon.
I don't know what they would
I-
do with that at this
No,
point.
Yeah,
know.
I don't see any reason for us to go to Zelphatol. At most, I can see it being like when we explore a dungeon and just like we
Yeah.
can probably talk to like the Exile there. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they'll be our friends now.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think jumping shard to shard is going to get old after a while.
Very quick.
I also don't like the idea of having a game world and then just ditching it so that you can make something new constantly.
Exactly.
It-
I think we went to the Void too quickly this time already. Like, we've just done the first and then already doing the
I
Void.
well, we
mean,
haven't technically.
The
Yeah.
Void has been set up for years.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we have no
Anything outside
information
of
on
that,
any
though.
of the other shards.
If they go to, like, the 4th one day, it'll
Yeah.
be weird, I think.
Yeah. I don't want 14 to just end up being like I don't know, just a disjointed mess of worlds. Like it'll be like the game full of different worlds, or
Yeah.
yours.
Hey, multiverses are very popular these days.
I know,
Yeah.
but it makes makes your main world less valuable because now you
Yeah,
have
'cause-
all these other worlds that
Which is supposed to be as historically rich, and yet they can't keep that up.
no.
We say that our main world is less valuable, but supposedly if Etheirys had been destroyed, all the other shards would have been destroyed.
Lore wise, sure, but I'm talking as a player. Like you'll have the less you are on Etheirys, the less connection you'll have with it. Like if we just had like back-to-back expansions where we go to just different shards every time, eventually Etheirys will be like, oh, okay, I guess we're back here now. It's like not
I
as
definitely
cool.
I definitely don't think they'll do that. In fact, my fear is that each shard will be one zone each.
Oh, don't say
Well, I would say that would be fine. I mean that.
one zone for
I
an
don't
entire
need-
universe.
What? Okay,
world.
Mela. Now you need to make up your mind. What do you want? Do you
I
want?
want them to explore Etheirys fully, and I want each one to be explored properly.
Well, here's the thing, Mela. Supposedly, we've got a 10-year plan. That's like 5 expansions at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually don't have that much time to keep exploring this world. If you
don't
look at
say
it that way. At 6 zones per expansion.
Yeah.
God.
That's 30 zones.
Time's running out, guys.
Time's running out.
I'm sorry, Mela, that I've
Oh.
activated your existential crisis. But
Oh God.
Yeah.
And all the
need
friendships
to-
we made along the way. Urianger.
Hey,
and remember,
yeah, go on.
there's an entire universe of planets out there. And we know that there are still people out there.
And we'll never have time to visit all them if we can't even finish our own.
14 has
Oh,
about
God.
as much time left as this podcast has been running. So
That is true. We're halfway.
If we were to restart the go through the podcast again, yeah, that we would be at the end of the game now if this was the second cycle.
And we still won't have enough glamour storage space. or
No, you'd
housing
still be
space.
going on about the lack of a
Yeah,
camera
it'll
log.
still happen.
Yeah.
It has been 0 podcasts since Mela has complained about the lack of glamour.
Let's see if we can get that going
glamour.
every single time. From now on.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Senarabe. I think there's going to be a lot of... I still find it hard to say Etheirys. I feel like Heidelin
Heidelin,
will
for
always be
sure.
the name for me, but that's going to be like the boomer name eventually.
It's fine. Embrace it.
We know the
I
content.
mean, Etheirys is in my head right now because of the Loporrit questline.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
I wonder how... Well, I think the MSQ is just going to keep referring to it as Etheirys, but it wouldn't make any sense for... This is a whole other discussion that we're not taking right now.
It wouldn't make any other sense. It wouldn't make sense for like the lay people, but I think they're slowly disseminating that knowledge to everyone anyway. But I also don't know if many people refer to it as Heidelin. Like they normally just refer to it as the star, as our
Yeah.
star. They don't
Imagine
normally
if
name it.
you.
True.
Imagine if your government came to you and said, "We're not calling it Earth anymore.
Yeah.
It's now
Because
called this."
some ancient people refer to it as Etheirys. That's not even you. Like it's weird because the planet is named by the people that live on it,
Well,
not the people that lived on it
it is.
before.
Yeah.
So
That is true.
Or the
But we are friends with a bunch of
goddess.
nerds,
Well, true.
and nerds like to label things correctly.
yeah,
So that's why we're surrounded by people that say Etheirys.
true.
Them nerds.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Senarabe. I think, like we said here, there's. I don't think we're done with shard hopping, but I think it's gonna be. We're not gonna get a repeat of Shadowbringers.
No. I don't think we're going to any other shards in the next expansion, at the very least, other than possibly the Void, and I don't think that will be the whole expansion regardless.
No.
No.
Because Yoshi-P, and we'll talk about it when we get to the PAX East stuff, but he likes to make us think we're going somewhere and then he goes beyond that. So that
I mean,
we
he
might
does,
think we're
but
going to the
also-
Void, but we might go somewhere else instead.
Yeah.
He also likes lying to us, like when he
That
said
too.
that we would take the fight to Garlemald in Shadowbringers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you again, Senarabe. Next, MogMail from Tristan X Lafere from Moogle.
Moogle.
My speakers. Final Fantasy XIV has gone through almost all of the classic summons, with the only notable exception being Asura. Do you think we'll still see primal/icons in the future, considering we've killed the most ancient and powerful ones? Or are there new type of enemies on the horizon? What kind of summons do you want to see in the future, theming/design-wise? Good luck fixing the site. Thank you, Trista. I am working on it still.
It's such a great question, considering we're not really fighting primals right now. We're fighting like enemies from other worlds
Yeah.
and gods.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we've had
Oh.
any reference to Pandemona
As-
No,
or the brothers.
That's true. Some of the 8
no,
summons...
we have had brothers. Brothers are a fate in
Oh, yeah.
Eureka, Pega.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah. But I
Sisters.
don't think we've had Pandemona, have we?
Not off the top of my head, but I also feel like it's probably not a priority for them because of its overlap with Pandemonium, name-wise.
Maybe, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I prefer the ones where they do their own thing, like Ravana.
mhm.
I
Yeah.
like original things.
I mean,
Yeah.
there have been original trial bosses for every expansion since Heavensward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're usually some of the most strong ones. And even
they're
the
not
ones
even-
that are like are a nod to the past, like Warrior of Light,
Hmm.
are also very original within the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it's 14 is kind of like a treasure mine for the Final Fantasy franchise in general, because we've reached a point where they essentially have no choice but to make new primals, which
Mm.
later Final Fantasies can borrow. They can take inspiration from what 14 is going to churn out. And it has 10 more years to go, so there will be many new, probably iconic icons and summons for future Final Fantasies.
That was funny, Lakil. It was a good pun.
Mm.
Oh yeah, there you go. That was definitely intended. Did 11 have any primal / summons that were missing? Good question. I don't remember.
I can't think of anything from 11 after 11.
Uh,
Were they called primals in that?
there was.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my brain no longer thinks in 11 terms.
Were they icons?
No, I don't think.
Oh, I
there
can
were-
definitely.
Pri-
I
no,
can
they were called
definitely see
primals.
Zodiac and Heidelin, I can definitely see coming back in future games, which will be cool.
Or were they? No, they were called 14. No, they were called that in
No,
14.
there's just notorious monsters. Is
Oh,
all I can find.
NMs.
There was Raoban.
There was
Raoban
Raoban?
was
Yeah,
just
Raoban was
a man.
NM.
What the hell? Raoban is a blue mage. Okay, we're not looking up anything from Final Fantasy IX. It's clearly incorrect.
I'm looking up summons because that would be the closest thing. They had Alexander, Diablos, Fenrir, Garuda, Ifrit, Leviathan, Odin, Ramu, Shiva, and Titan. So
Okay.
Well, they're all in our game.
so weep summoners. Those are all summons for the class or the job summoner. So yeah.
I would like something very like holy themed.
Oh, Siren. Oh, we also have Siren. She's in Parasirius.
Not in like the same like light way as Innocence, but more in like the sort of Crusader holy kind of. It would have fit in Heavensward, but we didn't have anything quite like it. Like a like kind of like
we have the Knights of
Thornton.
the 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thornton, but not like weird space Thornton. Very strange arena Thornton. Something more. Imagine if like Charibert had been Thornton in that kind of arena, like a
Yeah.
You're asking. I feel like you're asking for such a specific thing.
Yeah.
But I really liked the Heavensward like church theme. It's a very
Mela
it's a
likes
strange thing to
churches. We've been
like
through this. Mela wanted to convert to Christianity during
Oh,
Queen
yeah,
Elizabeth
'cause the
II's
buildings.
funeral because
Mela
the
wants to be
cathedral
taken to
looks nice.
Snatch.
I want to go to Snatch, but not killing God as a concept, but Heavens, like that kind of. I don't know. It just fits well as an enemy type.
Yeah. No, I see that.
But I agree with chat. I don't want to keep killing God. We've
No.
we've done enough of that, and we're still got to do that a little bit more. Come
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah.
Let's just kill Necron or whatever it was called from 9.
Give us. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Give us like, chthonic beings.
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, like
love the old
last
God
boss
kind
of
of yeah.
yeah, you know which one I mean. I can't remember the name of it.
Amarok.
Amarok.
Mm-hmm. Give
Yeah.
us things like that, or give us horrible things from space. Like I'm just trying to think of like enemies that like could be comparable to what we've dealt with so far.
Yeah.
Give us an enemy that is so cosmically incomprehensibly large that the whole fight is us just traveling through parts of it to defeat enemies within it because it's so huge
Yeah.
it just wouldn't
Fill
be
us
imaginable to.
with
How-
existential dread. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, imagine an expansion. None. It doesn't take place on Etheirys at all. It takes place on what we think is another planet, but we find out that it's a planet-sized eldritch
Oh.
horror that's coming to eat Etheirys.
Yeah,
Dude, that would be so cool.
that would be cool.
That would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
I love that sort of thing. I love.
But then we have to because there are people that live on it. We have to be able to we have to defeat it without killing it because we don't want to cause a world extinction event for them.
Maybe that's the whole point of the expansion is that we throughout the whole thing we're really trying to save them, but we realize that we just have to let them go.
Yeah.
We
Well,
have to live with that guilt forever.
I have to say, I mean, it's just another end of the world plot. All in when it all boils down to that
But
again.
it's cosmic horror,
Yeah.
which is wicked.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of the monster. I want something like that, but we've sort of, when you keep throwing end of the world plots at you, they stop feeling real. Like they stop feeling like a big event. I mean, we've had what 3?
Well, that's the trouble with this game, isn't it?
Yeah, like the calamity was supposed to be like the end of the world, and then as time progressed, like actually it wasn't the end of the world. It was just a very localized catastrophe, and then the catastrophe
Yeah, they
kept
barely
shrinking
felt it in
and
the Far
shrinking
East.
and shrinking to the point where people barely like, oh yeah, that thing that happened. It's like, okay, dude, but they have to do that because they keep throwing end of the world plots at us, like with the Black Rose thing in the alternate timeline, and then the end of the world with the fucking moon shit. You know, it's happened a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's take on like heart disease as like a physical concept.
There's a heart disease epidemic. Is that what you're saying, or a pandemic?
It's a
I
crafter
don't-
expansion.
I don't know how to like I'm just trying to think of like threats that like aren't like even like conscious,
Obesity.
But does
but
it?
like but
We
we
have to
could
save
fight
Julia
them
Child.
somehow.
But does it always have to be so dramatic?
Yeah, but you
for an
can't pull back
expansion?
now. What's the next expansion you kill? There's an evil pirate captain.
No.
Oh no, we've killed like some personification of the sorrow of the universe.
Wait,
can't
what?
go
No,
back.
we can have an expansion of like exploring like the new
I
world.
love that, but that's what they tried to do in 6.1, and they immediately abandoned it. Where we went to the void for no reason.
I
and there's a
know.
massive
I mean,
enemy
that's-
there. They can't.
I know
do
they
it.
can't help themselves, but with the new world, I feel like that's the one. That's where they can actually use that as like
Please, yes.
exploring
Explore,
the frontier.
meet the locals, colonize them.
Yes,
incorporate them
end
into
goal:
our
Eorzean
country.
colonization.
Yes.
Yes,
But you have to
Exploit
work.
them for hundreds
formation
of
of
years,
the
and then wash your
Eorzean
hands.
Empire.
I would like that, but like it's just like where do you end it? Because like it needs a climax.
Well, yeah, maybe they'll
Mine
they
collapses.
might. A gold mine collapses in the new world. You need to rescue the miners. Well, it could be, you know, tension with the people that already live. Maybe it'll be like
They'll overthrow us and they'll form a new nation. And
the
it'll be
United
America.
New World. Oh, there you go. Now that's a story I'd like to follow. Yeah, it would be. I mean, that's an interesting thing. If like we go to the new world, then Eorzea starts like colonizing, and then Eorzea sort of becomes the bad guy, and then
Yeah.
Mm.
you know, there's stuff you can do with that. to try
Britannia
to,
breaks
they
free.
love mirroring real world history
Yeah.
into Eorzean
Yes.
history, so you know they could.
Die the hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where are we? How did we end up here?
Well, we're talking about summons.
Well,
Right.
what themes and designs? Well, we were still on sort of a. I don't
Yeah.
know what we're on about.
No.
I like it when they do original things. They've been
Yeah.
quite good.
Yes.
Like every trial boss since Titania has been every like base expansion trial boss since Titania has been original.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I like
mean,
that.
You could argue Hades is not, but
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thank you, Trista. We'll do one more. Here we go. This is from Yuri Umite from Fairy.
I think it's pronounced Yumite.
Yumite from Fairy. Oh, hi, friends. I come to you today with a lore question regarding the Angry Orange.
Caramel.
Ours? Our orange? I'm sure everyone who's played the game for even a little while will have noticed that one person's method of speaking does not match any other. I speak, of course, of Urianger.
Aww.
Do you know of a lore reason for why he speaks the way that he does? It cannot be an Ellison thing, because no one in Gridania or Ishgard speaks like that. It cannot be a Sharlayan thing, because no one in Sharlayan, old or new, speaks like that. It cannot be a Scion thing, because none of the Scions speak like that. It cannot be an Archon thing, because none of the Archons we know speak like that. So where did this behavior originate from? Thank you. Also, greetings, neighbor. Is this someone you know?
That's creepy.
Okay.
Do you live near us? Have you?
Have you found us?
We've been found. One of us has been found. Let's just hope it's
Me.
Rollo.
Oh, okay.
Please. I mean, we know the reason.
Yes.
Do either of you want to explain it?
He's a massive loser who has no friends and he reads books all the time.
Well,
And the only friend he ever had was Moonbreeder.
Well, he's
She pulled him out of the book.
Okay, well, I shouldn't have offered this to Mela.
No.
Do you want to explain it, Lakia?
Well, he's a learned person, and he's essentially he's like showing off in a way. That's just how he speaks because of his scholarly
showing
attitude.
off. I believe. No, I believe the explanation is that he didn't have friends growing up. So
That's what
in a
I
certain
said.
way.
Yeah, it is what
Well,
Mela said, and I was trying to
it is
like
what he-
remove that aspect a little bit.
No, but it's because he didn't have friends. The only thing he read, like the only text or like speech he was familiar with, was what he got from books.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
which is why he speaks like that. But it is something that he knows how to not speak like that, which is why I mean,
But it's
canonically
difficult
in
for
the
him
story
to-
now, he speaks less like that now.
Yeah,
so
he does.
It
Because he's
is
been around people more and he's pulled away from that. But
yeah.
as a kid, that's what he did. And the only
Yeah.
person who ever helped him to stop being like that was Moonbreeder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was the
You were
Really
right,
told
Mela,
us
but
story.
you have to try to not make it sound like
Oh,
you're
just because I called him a nerd.
Well, you made it sound like it was
No,
made
you
up.
called him a
Oh.
loser.
Yeah, you called him a
Did I?
loser.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
him a nerd.
Yeah.
But yeah, Urianger is one of the best stories. Him and Moonbreeder.
Yes.
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
He got one of the best story
absolutely.
conclusions in Endwalker.
I was going to mention Louis Soir spoke somewhat similar, but he way more
But not
pulled
as
back
bad.
but yeah, that might also have
That was just sympathy.
That might just be because he's old.
true. That's
yeah.
true. He did not speak as horribly
He
as
was
Urianger,
old.
but Urianger was very close to Louis Soir. Like, so there is
Yes.
that aspect as well. Okay, so that's
Like you can't look at Matoya as an example of how people spoke back in those days because she didn't like anyone either.
that's true.
true.
That's true. Also, the neighbor part is throwing me off a little. Should we know this person? They're on
Fairy.
Fairy, so
Which is Ether Data Center, apparently. So I don't know.
no. Well,
Are they
greetings.
neighbors with Yaz?
Well, he's not here.
Well, Yaz has
no.
not
How
been on
old
the
is his
show.
MogMail?
Yeah,
No, I know, but I'm just trying to make logic out of it
Mm.
because Fairy was his server.
yeah.
That's true.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was.
guess so.
Oh.
Maybe they're in a neighboring country. Oh, are you Danish? Maybe because
they're
you're using
Swedish.
a.
It's Swedish.
Well, if they were Swedish, they
Yeah.
would have used the a with umlauts.
Oh, that's true.
So they would have to be Danish.
But they've
then.
used a thorn like an Icelandic.
Oh, are you Icelandic? Maybe. No, do you use a in as law?
As is law.
As is law.
That's
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah.
I think they did something sneaky to try and throw us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just go with Georgi's theory that they're a neighbor of Yaz's. So there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out. Okay.
Yes, if this person's harassing you, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll sort them out.
We'll sort that out. We'll I don't know how, but we'll get them removed.
Released.
Okay, right. Next, we have so much time. We've started early today.
I know we have so much time. Yeah.
Okay, well let's jump into one more. Do we have one more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uzora Akari.
We have at least a
Yeah,
few
loads
more.
more.
Actually.
We actually do have a few more. This is from Uzora Akari from Goblin.
Hi, Uzora.
Hey speakers.
Hello.
Newfound adventure, huh? When they announced the name for patch 6.1, I was very excited by the idea of our Warrior of Light becoming a vagabond adventurer again. Then the Void storyline kicked in, and we're once again saving the world. I don't hate the Void storyline, and I'm having fun, a lot of fun with it, but I can't help feel a little disappointed that our journeys as an adventurer ended so quickly. Is there a place for us to actually just travel around the world exploring lost civilizations and solving local problems anymore? Are we too big to go small again? Is there an appetite for 7.0 to be a smaller adventure again? Each region has its own specific local issue that we help solve while exploring the local culture that then maybe can be wrapped up with "it was actually me" Necron twist at the end.
Have you?
Is it
Did
possible?
you predict this podcast?
Is it possible for us to ever go back to being a nobody? Thanks again
That's
for all the
kinda
work you
spooky.
do. Yeah, that is spooky because wow.
Get out of our head.
That is wow.
Basically what we just said.
Yeah, that is what. But we're gonna have to spin something out of this.
I wouldn't be against this idea. Like, we just spend the whole expansion exploring. Then, like, because we're clumsy idiots, we just like, oh shit, we released a demon upon this world. We better stop them.
Yeah.
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 And that's all. That takes place all in like the final zone. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that I'm jealous of all the other Scions because I think what they do is more fun within the world
Because
than
they're
what we
smarter
do.
than us.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
maybe. But they get to go on like recon missions to Garlemald and I'm just gonna go and check the ether readings in this place. Like just mundane adventure-y things.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to go and
just
collect all the
And that
hunts
was
from the hunt board and go and just do some hunting.
That was kind of what we were promised, to be honest.
Yeah.
Originally, that we would be like starting from scratch. We were very excited for that. Even the artwork implied that we were just going to
Newfound
be
adventure.
back
An
to like just
adventurer's outfit.
adventuring through Eorzea.
Yeah. And how long did that last? About
It lasted.
one
It
patch?
didn't
I
even.
Less
mean,
than a patch?
It barely did lasted through the patch.
I mean, we should have expected this because they kind of promised this as well during the first patch of Stormblood, and then when Aaron Volder's like, "Let's go on an adventure," and then we're like, "Oh, we pulled into politics again."
Rule number 1: Yoshi-P lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-known liar.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I want 7.0 to try that. That's why I hope that 7.0 would be something like, I mean, we don't know where we're going in 7.0, to be fair. The pivot doesn't happen
It's more
until
likely
next patch.
City than New World, though.
No, sorry.
I agree.
The patch after. There's a next is 0.4.
Point
But
five
there's
is what
no-
it'll be, yeah.
There has not been enough set up for the New World. There's been way more mentions of Mericidia, and then also Corvus.
Yeah.
yeah, there's that.
Corvus
So-
will probably be like the first place we go because it's a dock, and then we'll sail
Mhm.
down to Mericidia.
So it's probably
Yeah.
not going to be a very adventurous. It's not going to be like Newfound adventures in Mercidia.
I mean, Mericidia for me is even more mysterious than the New World. I cannot fathom even what the environment looks like.
Right, that's true. We don't know.
Is
that.
it Australia? Maybe, but I don't know.
I hope it is because I just want a whole expansion of people talking like that.
Oh, please.
God.
We can get non-Australian actors to do the accent like
Well,
they always do.
Are there any?
They can do a Realm
there's-
Reborn quality
there's
accents.
There's plenty of Australian actors in the UK, Mailer.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's true.
that's true. Oh, they're
Yeah,
also.
Maria Margulies involved.
Oh my God, Mela.
Well,
she's
not
like
Australian.
110
Well, she
years
is.
old. To give her a rest.
No,
Probably doesn't even know what a Final Fantasy is.
No.
Yeah, that's true. She'd probably say something awful.
Yeah, she would. Yeah. I mean,
What do we? I mean, all right. What do we
maybe
know about
8.0.
Mericidia?
7. Well, it's inhabited
There's a
by
potential
dragons.
for exploration in Mericidia. We can be like an Indiana Jones type.
I mean, there's so much about Mericidia we don't know.
Yeah, but we
they've
know
alluded
it's
to it a lot.
They're not going to be happy when we come
No.
when Eorzea starts.
Why not?
Our
Well,
race,
mostly
the
dragons,
people of
isn't it?
Eorzea have been pretty horrendous in the past.
Do they even know
Us.
anything about us?
No, I don't know.
That's like 3 calamities ago.
To
I
them,
love it.
time flows very differently, and you know that.
Only for the
To
dragons. though.
Mericidians?
To dragons.
But
To
there'll be other
dragons,
people.
Yeah, but remember, we released Tiamat, and she'll tell them to calm the fuck down. They're her
Well,
brood.
That's
But
true.
there's more than just the dragons there. There
That's
must
true.
be.
Yeah. There's so many other races that I believe don't live as long as dragons that probably don't have a grudge against the northern
How often do we
continents.
get visitors from Mericidia?
Never.
Exactly.
Never.
They don't.
So when
leave.
strange people suddenly appear on your shores, do
Are
you?
you suggesting they'll react like that like one tribe in
Oh,
the
please,
in
I
the
hope
Pacific
so.
Oh
Ocean
yeah,
that
throw
just arrows
spears
at
and
them.
throw
arrows.
spears at any helicopters or planes that approach
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Well, so all they have of knowledge is from the dragons about the people on the 3 great continents. And I can assure you,
Sure,
the
there's-
stories they tell are not going to be rose tinted.
I mean, Munbrida.
Yeah, they
not
enslaved
Munbrida, sorry.
our race.
Merweeb has traveled to the New World, and as far as we can tell, they had a pretty nice time. They didn't do
In the
anything
New
horrible
World.
while they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, surely I keep wanting to call him Munbrida. Surely Melweeb is not the only explorer that has traveled the seas.
Yeah, there
The
might be
only
someone who's
explorer
gone
we
down
know of that we
they
don't
all
know
died,
of,
Yogi.
we don't know any explorer that went to Mericidia.
there. Yeah, they all got killed by the
I
tribe.
mean,
Yeah, they
like,
ate them.
because none of them are probably important to us.
Georgi
Melweeb
is like
important
white
to us
knighting
because she's a
Mericidia
city
because
leader.
it's Australia to him. This is my homeland. How
I don't
dare
see
you?
why they'd be so aggressive to us.
We
I'm
don't
just saying,
necessarily have
based
to
on the
just dock in one
history,
of their ports.
the
we
only-
could just land on the shore.
Listen,
and
the
move
only
it.
people. No. Listen, let me explain. The only people that we know
He's
has
gone full
any
Robert.
knowledge of no, because you keep saying the same thing. The only people or the only entities that have any knowledge and might have even lived during the war with Alag are the dragons. There's the
Well,
only ones that have any knowledge about the people from the 3 continents.
I believe lore-wise, Makode came from the south as well. They traveled north during the Great Frost of like the second calamity.
Yeah.
They
but-
did cross a land bridge. I don't remember.
We
where
don't
from.
know much about Mericidia, so why would Mericidia know a lot about us?
I don't think we have any interact. I do think it
No,
would be a difficult exchange.
I think this is just a difference in our perspectives. How you're an eternal pessimist and like I'm a pretty optimistic.
No, I'm just saying, let's say a country is completely destroyed by another country to the point where they never travel to that continent ever again. Then the ancestors tells the story about this continent and be like, they enslaved
just
our
think that
people. They turned one of our people against us and like into like a monster that like destroyed half the
I
world.
just think this is so like.
Are they going to
this would
ignore the
be like-
lore of Mericidia?
No, I'm not saying that they'll ignore the lore of Mericidia. I'm just saying that like this would be like the UK being angry at the Romans for the amount of years that have passed.
I'm a little bit angry at the Romans still.
Yeah, Mela is. Mela keeps bringing that up.
Okay.
Mela's still
An
tarping on
example
about the
of the
Vikings
everyday-
as well.
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
it's
it's
not
just
your
I
example
just
Also,
of
no,
the everyday
and also,
British
people
let's just
pick
say,
and
first of all,
choose
the
what they want to
Romans,
be angry about.
the Romans, okay, fine, the Romans, but with the Vikings, the people that were Vikings have talked to them since. We've had many years of reconciliation since
Yeah.
then.
And you know
Well,
what?
yeah.
You send us a Christmas tree every year
We
to
do.
still make up for that.
Yeah.
Why aren't we sending Sephiroth sap trees to the Mericidians?
Lots of people are angry at the UK for things they did in the past, but that's in like the last 200, 300 years. Lakil's saying that people are going to be angry about something that happened over 5,000 years ago.
So
Yeah, but maybe people are just time's relative here and
they
they're still angry about it.
haven't talked to anyone. Like there hasn't been any meaningful contact with the 3
I
great
just don't-
continents since the event. So obviously they're
I
going to be
don't-
like, "What the fuck
I
are you
just-
doing?"
They'd
like,
be
it's not
reserved.
that- I feel like they'll be reserved. I just don't think it's going to be as like antagonistic as you
Also,
seem to be
in the
presenting
lore
it.
for Mericidia, arrival of the Hyur and Ellison was marked as like a dark time for the Mericidians, because they waged like wars and shit all over the Mericidian continent. They showed that in the MSQ. Remember when we got the flashback where they just showed like one frame in white?
The cliffside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that was a really bad time in their history when they came with all their shit.
But that was before the dragons came, and the dragons fixed it.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that
Yes.
we'll probably visit with a dragon.
That's
So
true.
we'll have dragons on
That's
site
true.
who will be able to fight our
If we go to
opponent as
Mericidia, it would be very dumb if we didn't bring a dragon for that.
If we
that
went
reason.
on our own, and like Chad brings up, especially with Graha,
Yeah.
who is Allegan,
Yes.
Yeah.
that wouldn't go down very well, I would hope.
No.
But the game, the game's going to shoehorn it in
Well,
how it'll get fixed
don't we-
quickly.
Yeah.
Because
don't
we
we
need
know
to
that
move
there
on
was-
with the expansion.
Don't we know that there was like one Allegan princess that like escaped, and like maybe she escaped to Mericidia?
Oh
and,
god,
like,
Jen, she's still enslaving them all now. Cause she's...
We just come there and it's still like Alag over there. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
there you are.
I'll never let Alec die.
I think she left because she didn't agree with Alec, but that would be funny. I like maybe she.
She just
Well,
has,
obviously
like, a
not
mini
her, because
Alec.
she'd be long dead. But like maybe her ancestors will be open to it as well.
Maybe.
To an Alec, someone with Allegan like ancestry.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons for me to not think that this will be bad. I just like.
Well, I'm not saying it will. I mean, obviously, we're going to Mericidia, so
Yeah,
at some
and it will
point, so
definitely be
they have to
fine.
let us in, whether by that's happening. I would be extremely disappointed if there's not even like a pocket of people being like, "This is kind of weird." They're literally the descendants of
I'm
Alag.
not saying that there
Yeah.
can't be a pocket of people. I just don't feel like it will be the majority. I think the
No.
majority will just feel like will just be nothing. to
How
us.
boring-
It'll be like the Guardians.
I think it would almost be a little boring if there's no tension. What's the story gonna be like?
Yeah. I
They'll
think
have their own internal problems.
So we're just
No,
gonna come
they're-
in here and
they're
solve
demo-
their problems. Hey,
If
we
they're
come from the three great
democracy.
continents.
It's not
What's
the
up?
first time we've done that.
Yeah, I know. It's very formulaic.
Yeah, we're pretty bored over in AOC. We've solved all our problems. We hear you've got a lot.
Yeah. There's a
have you
lot
got
of
democracy
Mericidian
yet?
history that I would like to like get resolved, and some of that is the tension they clearly must have with the three great continents, especially
Yeah.
Eorzea. Or
I would rather
I
them
just-
bring that up than try and
I just don't think that it.
hide it.
I'd be surprised personally if it's an issue they still have.
okay.
Yeah,
Some
we'll see.
countries are still angry at their old overlords, and even though the time
Yeah.
perspective is
I
different,
know it's just.
But
like, the
Eorzea's
time.
the world is very old.
I know the
so
world is very
it's
old.
different
so is
from
our
ours.
world, technically.
Yeah, but it's different. Time is very different.
I
there.
haven't forgiven the Egyptians.
Right.
The
I-
Egyptians didn't even do
Montana.
anything to the UK.
Yeah, but I don't like their treatment of the Hebrews.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I've just not got over it.
Yeah. I'll just say the dragons kept waging war for over 1,000 years as well. So they're
and they don't care anymore.
no, they gave that shit up real quick, didn't they? So
I mean, I just feel like they'll be pretty fucking grateful that we released their broodmother after like 5,000
Yeah.
years.
that's true.
And then we can go over there and like just slaughter just fields of them just for the glory of Eorzea. Because we can do anything we want.
Right.
Re-enslave Tiamat. Graha, Emperor of New Alag.
That would be
Just-
cool.
It'll be amazing.
That would
We
be an
just retake
expansion
over.
I'd look
The
forward to.
Eorzeans. So someone's orchestrated the Eorzean alliance to just rebuild the Alag Empire.
See, this is kind of similar to what I said with the New World, that Eorzea becomes like the baddie at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like loose threads related to both Alig and the dragons that can connect Corvos to the Mericidia.
Yes.
So I think that
Yeah.
could be a trigger for a lot of what happens in the next expansion, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Graha goes back to Corvus. We learn about his childhood.
Yeah.
As Alec and Blood wakes up something bad, he just knocks on the wrong thing, and then he wakes up.
Yeah.
Necron.
God, that'd be so funny. There's something. I mean, There's got to be something.
There
bad in
has to be
Mericidia.
some tension for this to be because Mericidia again is not just going to be like peaceful.
It's a scary place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very hard for the Allegans to invade Mericidia originally.
Yeah,
It was
effort.
very hard to. It's a very defensible location.
Yeah.
Similar to Australia.
Yeah. So I don't see why they would give up.
And similarly to Australia, Georgi, I mean, think about your wildlife. Everything there's going to be super scary and dangerous.
Yeah.
There's going to be like 20-foot spiders.
I have so many arguments I can make to that, but I don't think it's
We're
worth
not having this again. No.
Spending time on that now.
No. Okay, well, thank you, Azora. Thank you to everyone for sending
kangaroos.
in MogMail. We have to move on to our main story, but thank you. Send in more MogMail at speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Okay, so PAX East for Final Fantasy 14. We can briefly mention that the 16 PAX East happened today. Well, it happened for the people that were there live. People watching on stream got maybe 50% of the stream.
Nah.
Oh, that's generous.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, about 20 minutes overall, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think you can put the blame on Square Enix for
No.
this one. I think this is very much a internet issue that happened within the
It was a PAX
Yeah.
East issue.
convention center.
Yeah. So no, but the 14 one went perfectly. There was no problems. We did have. I understand. The questions are sent in by people attending, and some of them may not be as balls deep into 14 as we are. But the
Don't make yourself laugh.
some of the questions were very nothing.
Very
it's like,
nothing.
what is your
Very
favorite?
nothing.
What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?
And they were so similar. Like, it was, instead of it like, what was your favorite expansion? And then, what was your favorite moment?
Yeah. What was
What
the
made you
moment
cry,
for you?
Yoshi-P? Why did
Uh,
you cry, Yoshi-P?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
What was the moment where you were crying?
what made you cry, Yoshi-P?
Yeah, how can you cry on stage?
Yeah. So there were
Yeah.
some
Cry
people
now.
wasted their questions in my humble onion, but whatever makes you happy, I guess.
I mean, they did filter them themselves, so I
Yeah,
imagine they got plenty of questions, and these are the ones they decided to actually answer.
that's true.
They didn't
And
answer
they definitely added their own.
any gameplay questions.
No.
No. They were from the
questions
official
from the
forums.
official forum.
Then gloves off. You fuckers. You know better than to ask these questions. Some of the questions, in fact, had been answered before. You
Yeah.
morons. The official
Where
forums
was the
suck.
guy-
Thank you. Just
Where
had to
was
get
the
that out.
guy asking the questions about getting more sexy Ariman? Okay, where were you when we needed you?
You know
Why
who
didn't
you
you
are.
send in a question?
Well, the sad thing is, Mela, I don't think that question would make it to the top 20 that they ended up picking to
No,
answer during
no.
this panel.
Would that not be the most golden moment, though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yoshi-P.
Oh, I hope
What would you? This was my favorite question. What would your 10-year younger self say to you now? Which doesn't even make
Which
any
is the-
fucking sense.
Yeah, that one was
Well,
a.
it makes sense, but it's just weird.
It's
it's
a
not
good
how you would
thought
ask it
experiment,
He
but it's
lived
cheap.
10 years ago. He knows what, like, that has already happened in his brain. Like, he can just think. He can just think what he. Do you know what I mean? 10-year younger
It's
self,
a-
that was him.
The thought experiment is like, what would you 10 years ago have thought to ask you now?
That was not the
Yeah.
question.
Like maybe
He said, what would a
maybe you'd ask
10-year
question
younger
about-
you say to you now?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's
it is,
basically what I
it is
said.
a lie. No, he didn't ask a question. I didn't ask him for information.
There could be a question involved though.
And
I
Yoshi-P
think it's just-
didn't
it's
even know how to
saying-
answer it, so he just like
Saying-
changed it.
Well, no, he didn't. I mean, saying doesn't say that you can't say a question.
Say a
The
question.
saying
You
is
ask
just
a question.
implies speech.
It's the same interaction anyway as what would you ask? What would you say to your younger self? It's just from a more childish thought place rather than as an adult. So it's like, you know, will the future be nice or something? But it's a meaningless question.
What I mean,
'Cause he already knows.
but
what
do
the
you not
future's
see
like.
the logical break here?
Yeah,
It's like,
it-
what
it
is the?
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't help.
But it's, you know,
He's already
I never
lived that
defended
life.
the question as being a good question.
No, it's a bad question.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
you could
pointing out.
think it
Is like
through.
you're so bad, in fact, that Yoshi-P changed the question. Like he made it like a different thing and said something else. He essentially he changed it around so it made sense. What would you say to your younger self? Which was don't die or what? No, you won't die. You'll still be alive or something. Something he said.
Yeah, you won't die.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to reassure himself.
Yeah. So that was great. I'm glad I know that it's the official forums now, so I can be extra toxic and poisonous in my review of your questions. Because when I tried to say that during the live stream, everyone was like, "It's the PAX East audience. Be nice. They don't know." I was like, "Okay, I forgive you these questions, I guess. Okay, now that I know it's you, no excuse." Okay. Anyways, so they asked the question that he had already answered several times about the 16 crossover with 14, which is happening for the fucking 10th time.
His favorite joke.
And he told his favorite joke for the 10th time that he would ask the producer of 16 if that was possible, which he actually repeated twice. He said it twice during the presentation. He loves that joke. It's very dad jokey.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. We're not even going to discuss that part. So this is the one that's really interesting. Someone said, asked him what his favorite. Oh, sorry. What were his favorite Final Fantasy games that had not yet had. Wait, I think these might have been two different questions, actually.
No, there were two questions that were in one. So they asked him, what are your favorite Final Fantasy games and what ones do you want more content from in 14?
Right. His favorite games was 3 and
7.
I thought it was
7.
No, 3 and 7.
3 and
no,
7.
it was 3. No, it was 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was 3. Yeah.
Because they kept talking about how not the American 3.
Yeah. 3. He's talked about 3 being his favorite before. But then
Which is where Eureka's from.
Yeah, and then things that that was not represented in the game, and the question in fact mentioned Evilise. Can we expect more Evilise as well? Is what was what they asked. So he said there was nothing. He wanted more from Final Fantasy 2. Which is not very represented.
Underrepresented in all societies.
Yeah. Final Fantasy.
People just don't like it for some reason.
Well,
it's because
it's got the Final Fantasy VIII syndrome. It's like the game where they tried too many different things after a successful game.
Yeah.
It's a good game overall.
Yeah.
Don't knock 2.
Right. Final Fantasy IX, which again not very represented in 14.
Yeah, 9 is rife for things they could include in this game.
So much.
Yeah.
Like areas, races, concepts.
Yeah.
Just tribes for future tribal quests.
Yeah. And then he said 7 remake because it is currently out, part 2. Well, he just said 7 remake, but I'm sure.
Well, I thought he said this was the 7 remake stuff. They said they didn't want to touch it really, and they can't until like it was completed. So,
yes,
not for another 5 years.
Yeah, but then.
Oh, that's generous, actually. Maybe not for another 8 years.
Yeah. But this is the thing that fucked me up, is that he said, but there's also Vanadil, which he didn't even say like 11. He said Vanadil specifically, which if you've been following the 14 like conspiracy lore throughout the years, this is a big one. Vanadil was for a long time before we knew about the shard theory. Was considered to like the conspiracy theory was that Vanadil used to be Hydaelyn, or Hydaelyn is what will turn into Vanadil. Like it's one or the other, because the continents kind of line up, but then especially if you think that if you factor in like millions of years between them, with continent drifts and stuff. So this was so now that we have shard theory, it is very likely that Vana'diel is just a shard that we can visit, and that makes it even more exciting because that means we might have a chance to see Vana'diel in like 14 style, which will be very exciting.
Did you like my theory?
What was that again?
That Vana'diel was the void.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that's sad if true, but that would also be pretty cool, especially if there's like, if we can go down to the planet and like, well,
see like remnants
and
of
see the remnants.
Sandorian or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think Vana'diel would have been the 13th because we've already seen races from that planet, from that shard.
Right,
and
that's
they
true.
were just they were our races.
Yeah. I think that's also a good point. Is that if they did that, like Vana'diel being like an expansion story or whatever, 11 players would fucking subscribe in hordes just to experience that. That would be
How about this?
Yeah.
11 the Vana'diel expansion is tied to when they combine the subscriptions.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be a great way of doing that. So you can like play the 14 story, and then when you're done with that, you can go in and explore the original world in 11. That would be
more
cool.
Depressingly, the Vana'diel expansion is tied to when they shut down.
They shut it down. Yeah, I was thinking I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Well, chat brought it up, but they have scaled back on the team for 14. It's in news sources that it's going into maintenance mode now.
Yes.
For
into
14?
11.
You mean 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe some of that resource is going to be pushed into some, expert Vana'diel people are going to get there.
Yeah.
There's so many like people over on there that like have knowledge about Vana'diel and 11 that could be brought over to our game.
Yeah. And it's a
remake it.
Yeah. It's a great idea because they essentially have this game that very few of 14's players have actually played that has all this lore already made. So they just have to like implement it.
Just have to make it playable.
And it fits so well with like the lore of 14, like the world of 14 at this point, because it is just, I mean, the races are almost identical, so they don't even have to put a lot of work into that. They just have to add tails to Rogadin and pull the hairline of Mikote all the way down to like here, because they have like
and then they need to squash the Lullafell.
And they have to squash the Lullafell and then enforce the black nose on all of them. That's it.
Frostbite them all.
Yeah.
Voldemort them all.
Yeah. Thing is though,
that'd be great because you can experience the good part of 11, which is like the story and the long history and the lore and the the world.
It'll make it more accessible
within an engine that is conducive to even the most smallest modicum of happiness. Like 11 is just a hellscape to play. But whereas 14 would be lovely environment to play in.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, as someone who's played 11, it would be nice to just see it again, like in like a good because now
without flickering, without that weird flickering it does.
When I play it now, 11 feels liminal now. It's weird because the environments feel
it's
so
very
like
liminal.
Yeah, it is.
Empty and wide and stuff. So it'd be nice to see it more alive and not as scary almost. It's like depressing.
It's definitely not subliminal. You could even say it's superliminal.
Yes. 11 is good. I will say that
it.
again. I will keep saying
Worlds,
that. 11, the story and the world, the lore is all good.
I will say 11 was good.
11 was probably good to play on a PS2.
I wish they'd released like remember when 1.0 and A Realm Reborn 1.0 shut down and we got A Realm Reborn. They made this like on the collector's edition. There was this like almost like a documentary chronicling the storyline from 1.0 to A Realm Reborn. It was called The Waning of the Seventh Sun, I think, or something like that, which was narrated by Louis Sois. That is a good idea for Vanadil, I think, if they're not doing like a 7. Or 8.0 expansion, Vanadil expansion, please make it happen. They could just do a narrated chronicle for 11 as well, so people that haven't played 11 can actually at least learn of the story, because it is very good.
Does an lore book exist? Because that would be interesting too.
I don't think there isn't a 11 lore book. That would be nice too, yeah.
Oh, it'd be such a lot of work now because there's so many expansions.
Yeah, there's a lot. Though they would be multiple volumes, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no
barely
official
able to make one
story rather than the world as a whole.
There is.
Yeah, you could just do the story.
They have story ultimanias for 11.
They could write
a
book, like a whole novel series of 11, told like within the lore, like, you know, just as if it's just a novelization of how it happened, going through the storyline.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
Yeah. Well,
I would like that a lot.
Yeah, he also didn't really touch on Evilise, but he did mention Evilise as well. Dalmasca obviously exists in the world.
I think Evilise is quite. I mean, that is more likely than Vanadil because it obviously has
it's
a
on the
presence
map
in the world. But isn't it it's a little bit more depressing than Vanadil because it's there, and it had this lore built up.
Yeah.
And then it was just never touched. Where's Fran?
Well,
and her underground resistance. How did they win?
Well, we did get
everything.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the notes, don't they say that they won the war?
Oh, the notes.
Like, I feel like what Matsuno said is that when he comes back, they want to address it after the war is over. I think the reasoning being that like they don't want us participating in any more wars because it's kind of like going back over stuff that's already happened in the MSQ.
Yeah. There's the whole. I don't think was the Lady Ash mystery explained in the lore bits that we got after.
Supposedly she's still alive. I don't know if it was ever learnt anything really about her.
Okay,
no.
so that's like open. So that gives me hope that is going to be addressed at some point. That is a story point that's just out there drifting, and the fact that he acknowledged it during the Q&A probably means that there is something that's going to happen soon at some point. I mean, it's weird to just leave it like that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of when they would do it because we kind of thought they would address it in the MSQ of Shadowbringer, Endwalker, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like tied exclusively to like side content. So once it was a 24-man raid, and then it was an exploratory zone / relic zone.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like what else they can do that wouldn't feel like they're doubling back over stuff they've already done.
I think
it's one of those like loose stories that they can't wrap up anymore.
Well, they could do
shoehorners going there.
Yeah, they could do like an NPC doing a recap because they can do that if we bring people that was not part of the side quests. So they have to like tell them what happened. That is a way of doing that. Like say we bring Graha and he knows nothing about what happened in the southern front in Bosnia.
Oh yeah, and then they give him the update.
Yeah, and then they will explain what happened. That is a way of doing that, which is quite clever.
But how did we get like what's happening in Evilise or Dalmasca or whatever to get us there? Something would just suddenly have
Dalmasca was under Imperial rule, and there was a civil war
that is true.
breaking out. There was a lot of shit happening behind the scenes with Gabranth. He's dead now, right? So he's...
Well, yeah, he just died off screen somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, which was very annoying because that cutscene with him clearly was meant to like... But it might be fake because it's an intelligence report, wasn't it? So
it is an intelligence report. It feels like a lie. Like, not a lie. It feels like a cover story. I don't think... I feel they can always go back on it if they want to.
Yeah. So there's a lot of setup.
That man whose head popped off like a grape. I want that to happen again.
Oh, what was his name? The Milkman.
Milkman, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
unrelated, like, obviously, but
that's unrelated. That's the weapon storyline.
I want that to happen.
There's also
everyone in
Valens. Thank you.
Yeah, Valens. I would love more with just the Bunga and the Sikh. These are two races that we know exist in this world that we just know very little about.
Yes.
And just the Vieira, because we've never visited them.
Dude,
but they
what-
exist now.
Wasn't that like, it's almost shocking that they brought 2 new races from another game into our world for just
Well,
an alliance raid?
well, that is true, but the thing is, particularly with the Bunga, I think they all have unique models. That's the issue right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do, but it's, I mean, it's this, they can work on that and get more. I mean, it's crazy that we have Banga and Seek are canon on Etheirys. They exist here. It's
Yeah.
just a wild
But
thing
I mean,
that happened.
Even with Hrothgar and
Oh yeah, also
Viera,
Fran
they exist, but
Yeah.
they were introduced in Shadowbringers, and all of what happened with them was not even on our planet.
I know, yeah, I
And
know.
we've still not gone to visit their homelands properly anyway.
Yeah, that is weird.
Especially Viera.
Because Fran was the introduction to that race, and then we learn all about Golmore Jungle, and that's where they're from, and all of the culture and all of that.
And then suddenly they're now called the Beast, and they're on a different planet.
The expansion
Cool.
they're introducing isn't even in there. It was
It
kind of
sounds
weird in
stupid.
retrospect, but oh well. Yeah.
I
So
love the Bangor, and I love all the Evelician races. They're kind of,
Oh yeah,
they're just so cool.
yeah, Bunga might be. I'm still
Maybe
surprised
in the
though.
next MMO.
The fact
I
that-
really wish there was a new MMO on the horizon.
Really?
That was not built on a skeleton of something like 1.0.
Well, we say
I
this
just
a
want
lot, but yeah.
I just like the idea of them having the tools to make it as good as they want it, rather than the fumbling they do on this game.
Yeah. Okay.
it's a sunk cost fallacy, Mela. They can't
Yeah.
really abandon this right now.
No.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of, there are some few interesting things coming up. The graphics update, which was the one thing he's looking forward to the most for the future, which they're working very hard on right now. He implied that they were about halfway, or possibly around halfway done. That's going to be huge. I hope, considering what it sounds like, it's a big task. They're halfway. They have to make it until 7.0.
Sounds like a big task. I know it to be a big task.
Well, I find it difficult to like fully understand the scope of it, because what they haven't exactly explained all. I know that they're doing the NPC stuff, or sorry, not the character model stuff, and then the NPCs will be done in waves afterwards. They do the main ones in the first.
And they have
initial
shader
update.
updates.
Shader
Lighting.
updates. But one of the big things, the shaders is a big deal because they can place dynamic lights and stuff everywhere instead of having them, painted on, which they have to do currently.
And
they only
the
have
foliage as well, grass and stuff.
grass we're getting an overhaul of the grass, but we have not yet heard any words about textures.
That's true, and textures are the biggest thing that is ugly in this game.
Yeah, that is there's the problem or the issue of textures and aliasing, which
Oh, aliasing. No, you're right. That's the biggest ugly thing in this game.
yeah,
For the shadows, especially.
See, textures is difficult because there's so many in this game.
well,
It's such a wide variety. I'll never not bring up, if you go to the Dravanian hinterlands and there's that ivy on the wall texture, that's just super good
yeah,
for no reason.
yeah.
And then you look at like Raubon's cloak or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's just it's pixel art.
Yeah.
It's just wild
Yeah.
how there's such different.
That's one of the bigger. I think anything that we look at closely should be a priority.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't make the Ronkan weapons and then make Raubon's cloak in the same day.
Yeah, that's true. I there are ways that they can lazily upscale it through like algorithms like AI upscaling,
Yeah.
which
You're
I would
like-
prefer in over nothing. Because I don't.
Do you think the graphical update to this game could push it to a point where it's no longer able to age as gracefully? Or age as
that's a
timelessly?
difficult. Yeah, that's
Like, for example,
I
Warcraft's art style is cartoony enough that as long as they keep, on top of texture and stuff,
Mhm.
it fits.
yeah.
Will
Yeah.
this game continue in that route?
I think it is a possibility, but I also trust that they won't hit that point.
I don't think they want to. They don't want to aim
It's a
for
fine
realism.
line.
That's why he
No,
showed
no.
that like initial. Remember when he revealed
Yeah,
the
super,
super realistic
dirt
one?
panda.
Because that
It
ages
can't
like
go for
milk.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be careful. Because 14 doesn't look bad.
No.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
But it's little things. It's looking at the shadow of the tree
Yeah.
and watching it judder along the ground in real time.
Yes.
It's the close-up of a character
Like-
coming onto screen with the worst cloak texture known to man.
But even hair, like hair looks really bad in this game. Like the hair textures, they're so jagged. Like they're very
They
low res.
are. But I
Um,
can live with the hair.
can you? Sometimes I find
Yeah.
it so off-putting. If they're gonna do like face and be like a good resolution, and then they have like jaggy hair, that's gonna be very strange. It looks sometimes
you're
it
never
looks
gonna
like
get hair wax
paper.
in this game.
No, no. It's just I don't know. It's
Some aren't as good as others. You aren't wrong, but like when I look at my character and zoom in,
yeah.
I'm fine with what I'm fine
Really?
with how the game looks. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like my hair looks fine actually on the.
I
my
mean,
character.
I will say, Mailer and I play races that came about with 2.0, so there might be more to them.
Well, I
Whereas yours
use
is
I use a
like-
hairstyle. I use a
so-
hairstyle that was introduced after Around Reborn, like in
Yeah.
Heavensward or whatever. I don't remember when that hairstyle came out.
That's true.
Some
It's
of them don't.
The
look
Type
bad.
0 haircut. Yeah. The old when I see NPCs with the old hair, especially that shit
Yeah.
looks bad. I think chat knows what I mean, right? Some of you will know what I mean. Yeah.
I found it quite uncanny anytime in Endwalker when you saw like generic NPCs with their generic NPC hair and they had the new Huron faceplate. With
Oh
some-
yeah.
That's true.
That's also going to be a weird point when the update rolls out and there's going to be new and old NPCs. But we talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that
that's gonna
before.
look so ugly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's almost
Okay.
gonna be a point of embarrassment for new players to come into the game and see just this really out of place people in this really nice zone or whatever. Ugh. It's gonna be horrible.
Okay. Another big thing that he announced, or he didn't announce it. He answered a question, but he said that the dev team wanted to expand the housing item limit in 7.x. But it was not. It was not as they say here on the subreddit. Unstructured statement from him, I suspect without dev input, lol. Which, yeah, I think so too. He didn't say anything about outdoor furnishing versus indoor furnishings, but I hope it also includes outdoor
He
furnishings.
didn't give numbers either. He just expressed the
He just
desires.
said,
No.
yeah,
He said he wanted to double them.
yes, which,
Wow.
okay.
Good luck, Yoshi.
I think that's much more possible outside than inside.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I want them to focus on the outside first, because I think you can make most insides work with the furniture limit.
Well,
I mean, I know that it's not enough.
it is not enough.
I know that, like, especially if you want a very detailed house, it's not enough. But I think there are many worse front yards than there are houses.
Right. If you have a mansion and you like to decorate detailed, you know that one or two of the upper floor rooms will have to go, if not the entire floor. So more furniture, please. Just in general, if they can just raise I'm sure. Okay, so I am not a programmer, and you will understand this immediately when I say this. But in my simple mind, this is just something that they can change the value to allow more furniture placements. If it's that easy, I don't see why they couldn't just do that for both inside and outside at the same time. I mean, it's not like they have to wait.
Well, I'm glad you realize you're not a programmer.
Yeah, well, I know, I've always known, but just in case. So there you know.
I mean, the issue is not allowing you to place more. It's allowing you to place more and have it run smoothly for everyone.
Optimally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a furniture system that was introduced while we still had the PS3.
Yeah, but like if you're rendering instead of rendering like 20 outdoor items per house in your vicinity, you're now rendering 40.
Well,
That's
things
suddenly a
pop
lot
in
more
and out of
housing.
existence
Yeah, so
anyway.
you'd have to either make that
But-
length smaller, so things pop in closer,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
And-
Because
and-
when they increased the furniture size at some point, but I still I thought that was still during Heavensward, but maybe it was Stormblood.
It might have been during Stormblood. And they have made updates to it in some ways. Well, not the total character limit, not character furniture limit. They have done things that were they have increased the number of things allowed for previously limited things, like the number of like NPCs that you can have placed in your house, or the number of aquariums you can have in your house.
They still
which is
haven't
tied to a lot of other models.
Still haven't increased the amount of spotlights you can hang up or have placed in your
No,
house.
but I think that is coming with the graphical update,
Yes.
because they have already talked about the increasing lighting sources.
Yes.
you have to remember every item you put down as well. It's not just it has to have a reference to what the object's going to be, its position in the world, its color if it can be dyed,
Yeah.
its state if if it's a chocobo stable, is it clean or not? Is it a light that's on or off?
Well,
Well, how eaten has it been if it's a food item?
Yeah, all this data that has to be transferred.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
when you're in
it's
your
small
house,
amounts.
that's all that's loaded.
Inside is easier than outside.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So, but
But
outside,
again, you have to worry about people's computer. I mean, the thing is, we play on good computers.
yeah,
There'll be people on old hardware that they have to think about too.
yeah, they should
Yeah.
have better graphic
Computers,
settings.
yeah, you're right.
No.
You're right,
Graphic
yeah.
settings and stuff, I guess, to help with that. But I mean, either way, a lot of people are going to
I know
be
what you said,
filtered out.
Nikhil. They should be less poor.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
What? That's not what I
That's-
said.
yeah.
Well, that would make Yorgi hate you, so don't be poor. The what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the graphical update in 7.0 is already going to filter out a lot of people that have bad computers. So I mean, it's already happening with the graphical update. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, how modular this graphics update is.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know how
Yeah.
much of it is mandatory or not. I mean, there's no way you can switch back to the old models. Once they do that, the character models
That's
will
true.
update.
Yeah.
So that there's no going back from that. I mean, you can
Purge is
currently
coming, poor people.
stop calling them poor. You can also just be a novice and not understand how computers work and have a bad computer.
That is.
Oh, okay. So they're either poor or they're idiots. That's what
yeah.
you're saying.
All right,
Nikhil.
Nikhil.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get. All right, Nikhil Bracer. Wow. Harsh.
History will show that I never said any of that. So it's okay to not know how computers work. I didn't for a long time. I played 14 on a Mac. Okay,
Nothing wrong with that.
I'd argue I still don't know.
right, right, and that is almost
If you
worse.
really get down to it,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows. If you deep down, I mean,
I
it's
know.
just hot sand. How is it storing data?
Okay, now we're going way too far, but okay. Okay, anyways, moving on. He wants, hold on, Heart of Sabik was brought up because Yoshi-P listens to the podcast. He
does listen to the podcast.
He did just say that it will return or could return, but not as the main focus, so side story.
See, I think he's being purposely vague here because I actually think it's going to come back sooner than we think. People have been bringing this up for a while now, that the lyrics to the song that plays during the second phase of P8S, Whitestone and Black, or something like that, something along those lines, alludes to something that sounds like it could be the Heart of Sabik.
Okay, yeah, because we've been talking about Pandemonium being potentially where we uncover that story. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I believe.
Yeah.
I think they've talked about the idea of the Heart of Sabik definitely being Aurosite.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
we've had this discussion before, haven't we? We've talked, or is
we
it
have,
off
yes.
air? Okay, we've done it on the show.
I don't know if we had it on air. I know
No,
we've had this
I
discussion.
can't tell anymore.
We always talk about these sort of things.
Yeah.
We don't know what.
So if we've talked about it before, then go back and watch that discussion, I guess. If not,
Yeah, go and find it.
go find
and watch
it. You do the work. Okay, and then he said that he is fully he intending to be back in PAX East 10 years from now, talking about the future of the game. So
When he's 60.
when he is 60.
Oh,
So
that's
we
sad.
have at least 10 more years.
And when we're 40, Mela.
Oh my god.
I didn't
God.
mention your age, Lakil.
42.
56. I'll be 56.
I wonder if. Yeah.
You're a
I
good
just
46,
wonder-
Lakil.
Yeah, you do look good for 42.
Thank you. Okay. That's it for today, I think. That's it. No, sorry, that's it for
Yeah.
that. And that is
That's
also
it
it
for
for the
that.
show.
So it is it for today.
Yeah, that's it for today, actually.
Yes.
Or
That's
is
it.
it?
That is it.
Yeah, it
that
is.
was PAX East. That was all of that. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Hopefully with Rollo. Rollo threw me off a lot today with his absence. So sorry about that.
Throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick him down there.
This is Rollo's fault. He
Yeah,
is.
Rollo.
Yeah, that is all. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at Twitch. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV.Twitch.
What?
Remember to follow on
Go
Twitter
on.
at SpeakersXIV, Twitch.tv/Speakers of Heidelin, YouTube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation, Discord and chat if you're watching on demand, links in the description. Send us MogMail, SpeakersXIV.com/MogMail, and we will go straight into the post. No, we'll not go straight into the post show. We'll be back in the post show if you're watching live. Bye.
Bye.